here's why you definitely want to get gap insurance when you purchase a new vehicle. So, our small car wasn't quite big enough for our growing family, so we had to get a minivan. And while I'm not a big fan of American vehicles, Dodge was the cheapest minivan we could get. So, we found a good one. It was low enough mileage, and it was in a price range. And it was a beautiful color, nice dark gray. So we went ahead and bought it, got it home, and yeah, it has nice features inside, multiple climate zones, plenty of room for the kids, plenty of room for stuff to go to the zoo, put a wagon and a stroller in it. So 3 weeks after buying it, I get a call while I'm at work. My wife calls me and tells me there was an accident. Our neighbor accidentally ran his truck into it, not paying attention. The damage did not look too bad, although it did skid the minivan forward by a little bit, about a foot. And keep in mind, this vehicle was in park. So, of course, it didn't look too bad. But when we put it in gear, it made some pretty terrible sounds. And even revving the engine not in gear made some terrible sounds. And nothing I did could get it to move. So I got out, looked around, and yeah, it was leaking some kind of fluid. Checked it out, it was transmission fluid. So, just another thing I didn't know, when you hit a car rear-ending it while it's in park, it can destroy the transmission. Found that out a little bit later. You can see a little bit of crumpling to some of the structure of the van, but it wasn't that bad. But since it wouldn't drive, I had to call the insurance company, called a tow truck for me, and towed it away. So we did go to check out the baby at the hospital, make sure everything was good with that. We are pretty familiar with the routine of going to the hospital. It's our 4th child, after all. The child's fine. The minivan, however, is not. The body shop tears it down to investigate what's wrong with it. I'm not sure why it went straight to a body shop when it clearly had transmission problems, but that's their procedure. So the back end's messed up, parts of the structure are crumpled, the exhaust pipes kinked real bad and tore up on the tailpipe, some frame rails are bent and crumpled a little bit. Yeah. Actually, the hitch attachment was bent downward. That might have actually saved a lot of the bodywork of the vehicle. Some parts that were, I think, metal actually sheared off. Other parts bent and did quite a bit of damage. Scuffed at the paint too, but who really cares at this point? Bumper is bent in two underneath all the bodywork, which I didn't really notice. So it didn't seem that bad, other than some messed up bodywork and some frames to straighten out, and of course the transmission. Little did I know that in my state, Kentucky, if your damage is more than 75% of the value of the vehicle, and my vehicle was I had a loan for $18,000, but the insurance company valued it at around $16,000, I think. It was $12,000 in damage. So the insurance company considered a total loss. So what do? Well, Shelbyville, Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge helped us out a lot before, and with my credit score. So I went back to them, and they fought for me again. They actually negotiated with 64 different banks. Found out the bank that actually had a loan through for the first minivan. He might have only had this thing for 3 weeks at this point. They would work with us again, but they needed to talk to the car dealer and the insurance company on a three-way call and determine what all went down and what we're going to do about it going forward. So, yeah. They got me another vehicle, exact same kind of vehicle, only a different color, which I wasn't too happy about, but whatever, it's cool. The kids love the color. I just like gray. So then they work with the loan agency and get me another loan, because this vehicle has had one minor collision in the past, nothing too serious. Had some front end work done. It was a lot cheaper. It came in at about $15,000. So this was going to be a smaller loan, and that actually got me a better. I did some little tricks with my credit score. Google how to hack a credit score, and you can boost it by about 100 points in a week or two if you know what you're doing. So I went from a 35% interest loan on an $18,000 loan to a 25% interest on a, after taxes and everything, about $16,000 loan, which actually saves me about $4,000 or $5,000. And yeah, the vehicle does look good. It is a nice color. I just like the gray better. So we got that thing home. And my only problem was it didn't have a center console. Not very happy about that. The other one's exact same model had a center console. So I went back to the body shop and told them that I left something in the vehicle. And just pulled the center console out. And installed it in the new one. It's all good. Filled up with stuff, cup holders and stuff, you know. So the vehicle looks nice. Got home. We actually made a copy of it in a driving-based video game that my wife and I like to play. And then we took on a road trip to see the solar eclipse. Slapped a little sticker on it, just make it look nice. And then found out the gap insurance is going to cover everything, including my deductible. And yeah, that's nice. And now we are back to having a good minivan. But the moral of the story is you definitely want to get gap insurance, because we would have actually been out $4,000 or $5,000 without gap insurance. And we would have still been making payments on a vehicle we wouldn't have had at that point. And because of the gap insurance, we were able to get a new vehicle that's the exact same model as one we had. And I also want to give a special shout out to the guys at Shelbyville Chrysler Jeep and Dodge. And if you happen to be in Kentucky and are looking for a good vehicle and want someone to work with you on getting a loan, I'll put their contact information in the details. Thank you, and have a blessed day.